Here we're going to conjugate these 5 verbs in passé composé. We're going to conjugate these 5 verbs: rencontrer, punir, vendre, écrire, voir. These 5 verbs, we're going to put these verbs in passé composé tense with avoir as the auxiliary verb. I hope you know what's the rule for passé composé. Present tense of avoir or être plus the past participle. We have 2 auxiliary verbs, avoir or être. When the main verb is found in doctimus vanitram, we will use être as the auxiliary verb. When the main verb is not found in doctimus vanitram list, we'll use avoir as the auxiliary verb. And the general rule to get the past participle, if a verb ends with er, remove er and put e acute. If the verb ends with ir, remove ir and put I. The verb ends with re, remove re and put u. But for certain verbs, we need to by heart the irregular past participle spellings. So for the verb venir, it ends with ir, but you can't remove ir and put I. You have a special past participle. It is venu. So for certain verbs, we need to by heart the irregular past participles. So let's conjugate these 5 verbs in passé composé. When these 5 verbs are not found in doctimus vanitram list, we're going to use avoir as the auxiliary verb. When the subject is nous, your avoir conjugation is OAV, ONS. And to get the past participle for rencontrer, you remove ER and you put E acute. RENCONTRE acute. This is how you'll get your past participle. So you've got nous avons rencontré nos amis. We have met our friends. Next one. The verb is punir. So when the subject is tu, the auxiliary verb avoir will be as, and the verb punir ends with ir, remove ir and put I. So finally you get tu as puni ton fils. You have punished your son. The next verb vendre, and for this verb, what's your subject? You have a subject noun, my parents. So we need to find the equivalent subject pronoun for my parents. It is something like they, ILS. So when it is ILS, your avoir conjugation is ONT and the verb vendre ends with RE. So you remove RE and put U. So you got mes parents ont vendu leur maison. My parents have sold their house. The next verb écrire, we will still use avoir as the auxiliary verb because the verb écrire is not found in Dr. Mrs. Vanitram list. So when the subject is je, your avoir conjugation is AI. And for the verb écrire, you have an irregular past participle. The verb écrire ends with RE, but like vendre, you can't remove RE and put U. You have a special past participle for écrire, to write, and that is E acute CRIT. So that special spelling we are supposed to use for écrire, E acute CRIT. Now what's your translation for the sentence? J'ai écrit une lettre. I have written a letter. The last one, the verb is voir. The subject noun is Sylvie. The equivalent subject pronoun for Sylvie is ELLE. So your avoir conjugation is A. But for the verb voir, you have an irregular past participle. You can't remove IR and put I, like how we do for finir and punir. But for voir, VOIR, you have a special past participle, and that is VU. So we need to put Sylvie a vu un film. Sylvie has seen a film. So this is how you need to check which auxiliary verb you will use, whether it is avoir or être, For these 5 verbs, we have used avoir as the auxiliary verb because these 5 verbs are not found in Dr. Mrs. Vanatramp list. And we need to know what will be your ending, whether we can go with a general rule to get the past participle by cutting ER and put E acute, remove IR and put I, remove RE and put U. But for certain verbs, we need to by heart the special irregular past participle, like in the case of écrire, it is écrit, and for voir, it is view.